league programme is complemented by a friendly fixture, in this case to mark the return of Bradford City to their rightful home. The return to Valley Parade is something that City's fans have dreamt about for a long time. It's been the club's home for the best part of a century and holds so many happy memories. Few of us can recall the momentous day, but everyone knows that Bradford City won the FA Cup in 1911, just 8 years after the club was formed. In the 1928-29 season, City scored 128 league goals, a record. And the man who scored the last of those goals and went on to captain England, Sam Barkas, remembers it to this day.
I played right half that day, and the ball came out against my own town, South Shields, and I hit this ball from about here to that goal there, and that was the third goal, and I'd beat the record. Well, I didn't know, but I just hit the flaming thing.
Was it 128 goals?
128 goals, and it was a pleasure to play with Bradford City because we had some great old-time players. I was the youngest. I was about, what, 17, 16, 17, but we had some great players.
Since then, City's image has undergone a few changes. Sunday represents the dawning of a new era. It's a fine new stadium, all right, and bearing in mind the disaster that necessitated its erection, safety has been uppermost in the minds of everyone at the club.
Well, it's been very much uppermost in our minds because we realise that there is a world spotlight on us, it being the first stadium that's been rebuilt since the tragedy, and also every single suggestion that has been made by any authority, police, fire, health and safety, local council, Yorkshire County Council, any suggestion that has been made, whether it's been backed by legislation or not, has been incorporated in this stadium. Not a single thing has been rejected, and in many of the things, like closed-circuit television, we've gone over the top. You know, we've spent considerably more money than other clubs have spent, and we believe that we've got the best closed-circuit television system of any ground in the Football League.
So City returned to Valley Parade on Sunday, and manager Trevor believes his players will be happy to be back.
Obviously we've been struggling up at Oxford, playing up there. It's been very difficult, but yeah, I would think it's a new lease of life for the lads.
Has it affected their play, do you think, at all?
I think it's easy to say that when you've lost games, but not so much the general play, just the general thought of going there and playing there, because, you know, basically it's not a football ground.
Bradford City versus England, it is then on Sunday. Kick-off 2 o'clock, by the way, and we can look forward to some exciting stuff. There are still a few tickets left, and 3 more stars have been added to the England lineup today. Franz Carr, the brilliant little Nottingham Forest winger. Paul Goddard, such a hit with Newcastle since his transfer from West Ham. He replaces Peter Beardsley. And Cyril Regis from Coventry City have all been added.
A year and a half after its ground was devastated by the worst fire in the history of British soccer. But for many people, today's homecoming stirred only painful memories of the 56 people who died.
They'd played soccer here at Valley Parade for almost a century before the disaster which claimed 56 lives. Today, many of the fans who'd seen friends and family killed or injured took their places in the new £2.5 million stand to remember. Among the guests, Sir Oliver Popplewell, whose inquiry into the disaster led to stringent safety restrictions here and at grounds nationwide. Despite the memories, for many victims, this was a day they'd long looked forward to.
We're all laying there badly injured after the first week, and we all said, when there's all the talk of going elsewhere, we must go back to Valley Parade, and we're happy to die.
Fittingly, their return brought a 2-1 victory for Bradford City in the closing minute of the game. But it won't mean an end to their problems. The club may still face a massive compensation claim from fire victims. But today, at least, those problems were forgotten. Robert Hall, ITN, at Valley Parade.
The club's recovery from the fire which claimed 56 lives and destroyed its main stand. But the club say he had to go because of this season's poor results. We'll be talking to Bradford's chairman, Stafford HEGINBOTHAM, in a moment. But first, Nick Powell looks back at Trevor Cherry's 4-year spell in charge.
November 1982, and Trevor Cherry becomes Bradford City's player-manager in succession to Roy McFarland after a successful career with Huddersfield, Leeds and England. Managerial success took 2.5 seasons to achieve, but Cherry and his assistant Terry Yorath won acclaim for their team's attractive style of play. And in April 1985, they clinched promotion to the second division for the first time in 50 years. When fire hit their ground so tragically a few weeks later, it affected Cherry as much as anyone.
Obviously, I'm devastated. It's unbelievable.
But he worked hard to show the public that the club cared for the bereaved and injured, and he kept the players going on the field, forced though they were to play mainly at the Rugby League ground at Odsal. Until just last month, Valley Parade was reopened, transformed into a modern, safe ground at a cost of £2.6 million. It was a proud day, but the 2-1 victory they achieved against an England side was in stark contrast to their league form. Yorath had gone to Swansea, and Bradford were on their way to today's position, bottom of Division 2. Almost the final success for Cherry, back in his England shirt. He says today's news came out of the blue.
Mr. Heginbotham, why have you lost faith with a very popular manager?
Well, I think the situation, John, is that we're at the bottom of the second division. We have achieved 2 points out of the last 24 played for, and we have a situation where we have now only 20 games left in the season in order to hopefully retain second division status. Our club over the last 3.5 years have tasted champagne, and I don't think our supporters want to go back to the flat beer of comparative third division football.
Those supporters have been giving you some stick, haven't they, recently? Now, is this going to take the pressure off you a little bit?
No, I don't think it is. I think, in fact, it puts the pressure back on the board. Today's decision was one of total agreement within the board that we needed to make this move. I think April or May will decide whether we made the right decision today. All I can say is we made the decision today for the right reason.
But have you been fair on a man who got the club through a very awkward season last year, and now you've gone back to Valley Parade and you've sacked him?
Well, I think the situation is that it's very much a commercial decision today. We're having a difficult time, and the board felt that a change was necessary. How popular that decision is, and Trevor is a popular man, particularly in certain sections within the club, how popular that decision is will depend entirely upon who the replacement is and what sort of success we have from now to the end of the season.
This will be seen as a panic measure, surely.
Well, it was far from being a panic measure, but there was no point in leaving it another 6 or 8 matches and then bringing someone in who didn't have anything like a sporting chance of putting it right. There are 20 games to go, and hopefully we can put what has been so far a disastrous season right.
You've already had thoughts, I'm sure, about who replaces Trevor Cherry. The first name to come to mind must be Terry Yorath.
Well, I can't be involved in conjecture. Obviously, there are a number of people who we feel would do a job at Bradford City and would have a sporting chance of getting it right this season. Terry Yorath is obviously going to be one of the names that people are going to quote.
How soon will you make an appointment?
Well, hopefully within the next few days, depending, of course, upon whether we can attract the right man to come to Valley Parade. Failing that, obviously, we shall have to ask for applications and go through the usual rigmarole that most clubs do in order to find a replacement.
Mr. Heginbotham, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Last round of knockout FA Cup favourites Everton.
Out! 2-0! Ormonroyd once again. Oh, that's an inspired ball through to John Henry, who loves to take on defenders, and he's doing that here with Willie Donachie. The angle not good, but Henry can score magnificently. Ormonroyd in the thick of it. The 2 tallest men on the pitch here battling Linnigan. Ormonroyd still going on. Still he's there, Ormonroyd. Oh, and he squeezed it along the line and in. Henry here, inside the box, will twist and turn, tries to get in the shot, and Mark Ellis, he does, and the ball's gone in off Henry. 5-0. And Tommy Wright. Oh, he's a valiant little tryer, Tommy Wright, and he's got his reward.
He was appointed to the job this morning on the eve of the club's biggest FA Cup tie for years against Everton at Valley Parade tomorrow. Terry played for City, of course, and for Huddersfield Town. And by way of a welcome, how about this as a reminder of his abilities?
4 men in the middle. Dolan a shot. A goal! He's got it! Dolan has scored a surprise point-footer, and it surprised Ferguson. So Huddersfield Town go back into the lead. In the 5th minute of the second half, Terry Dolan, a yard outside the penalty area, turns swiftly, hits that low right footer, and before Ferguson could get down when it was there. 2-1.
Terry, the smile's even broader today. Congratulations. Are you surprised to have been named as Bradford City's new manager?
Not really, because I've always had confidence in my own ability.
But at the start of this season, you couldn't possibly have imagined it.
Not really, but it just shows you what happens in football. You know, circumstances have changed. A chance came about, and I was keen to take it.
Now, obviously, tomorrow's match against Everton is the gloss, but I imagine your priority has to be to keep Bradford City in Division 2.
Yes, all this week everybody's been talking about Everton, but after tomorrow we've got to get down to the hard work of getting some league points and getting away from the bottom of the division.
Do you think you've got the players to keep you there?
We have, yes. I mean, we could do with 2 or 3 more to add to the squad, but they've done very, very well this last 3 weeks, and we can't argue about that.
You've said you're confident in your own ability. At the same time, perhaps you were surprised, if you'll excuse me saying so, there were some bigger names, if you like, in the field for the job. Did you expect really to get the job above them?
Well, after the last 3 weeks, the way things have gone, I was quite confident, and I think one of the important things was that stability was kept at the club. You know, we didn't want a big change around, and things have gone well so far.
You've obviously got the confidence of the players.
Yes, it shows in the results on the field, the way that they're playing, yeah.
That's right. Now, if, when you've got the job, as I say, how confident are you about the backup staff that you've got as well? Because you've Stan Turner, you've Maurice Lindley, you've Brian Edwards.
Yes, they've all given me a lot of help over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Whatever I've decided, they've gone along with. They've worked hard together. They've got a lot of experience, particularly Maurice and Stan. Brian's always in the background giving his advice, so, you know, we've got a lot of things going for us.
And just a word about tomorrow's game. I mean, the eyes of the country are going to be on you, aren't you? How do you think the day is going to go?
Well, I'm hoping that we'll play very, very well. Everton are a very, very difficult side to play against. They're very strong. But the way we've been playing recently, I don't think they'll be overconfident.
Well, Howard Kendall certainly saw you perform well against Oldham. The best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much indeed, sir. So the FA Cup is up for grabs again now that Liverpool have fallen by the plastic wayside. And in a moment, the last manager to bring the cup back to Yorkshire, Don Revie, will be running through some of the ties with me. But that game at Valley Parade tomorrow is the tie of the round, and 2 of Bradford's potential heroes have been out shopping this week. It's amazing what a pair of new boots can do. City's captain, Stuart McCall, should be happy enough with the ones he wore last Saturday. He scored twice against Plymouth Argyle. But for the club's chief striker, there's a much bigger problem. Now, these are size 12 boots, and the man who's going to be wearing them on Saturday could be the man to destroy everything. That's for you, Norman, right? Ian, do you have problems getting boots?
No, not at the moment, like, but my feet are still growing, so a bit of trouble later.
So it could be size 14.
It could be size 14, yeah.
Actually, you've grown phenomenally. What, are you 6'4" now?
Yeah, I'm still growing as well, which is unbelievable. I'm supposed to stop at 21, but I think I've still kept going.
What do you think you're going to end up at?
Top of the door, about 6'5".
So you should terrify the Everton defence, do you think?
Well, I'm hoping to, yes. But I think they know me, so.
The funny thing about you is, I mean, very tall, obviously, and yet you're balanced, especially against Oldham, where you scored those 2 goals, and the one where you ran along the touchline and then along the goal line was quite exceptional.
Yeah, it's just touch, really. I've been working on my touch, and it just comes with practice, really, and it's getting better, because obviously I'm training every day.
Do you think you have a chance?
Yeah, I've got a great chance on the zone ground. You know, if we'd have been at Everton, I'd have been a bit sceptical, but on the zone ground, we've got a great chance, yeah.
What would it mean to the club to have a good cup run?
Well, it means everything at the moment. The supporters have rallied around us tremendously, with us going back to this new ground and that. But obviously our main thing is keeping in the 2nd division. But a good cup run would help that. I'm not believing in saying, no, we'll get out of the cup and all, making excuses. A great cup run would help us as well. And to beat Everton can only give us confidence.
I suppose inevitably there'll be comparisons again between you and Ian Snowden, and always has been.
I can't get away from him. I mean, no, he's done played against him with Doncaster League. And now at Everton, he's just, full credit to him, he's done great and he's furthered his career well.
Yorkshire, where